Hello. Have you heard the word of the one true goddess, Sailor Moon, who has died for your sins? I'm just kidding. Us Sailor Moon fans are not a cult that I know of. I'm certainly not a part of it. But I am a long-time fan. She was almost around for as long as I've been around. Just she came out in 92. I'm not going to say when I came out. Got birthed into this existence. Not in that way. That was a few years later. So, yes, huge fan. I think since the very beginning that the anime launched, I watched it. So she's been a huge part of my life for as long as I've been sentient, basically. Love Sailor Moon. And I finally watched Sailor Moon Crystal, which I was really reluctant to do for years and years. And I wasn't entirely wrong to do that. I won't say I hate Sailor Moon Crystal, but it has its issues. And don't get me wrong, the original anime has its problems and flaws too. But Sailor Moon Crystal feels rushed, like it's a cash grab. Like they just wanted to cash in on the Sailor Moon name and enjoy their money with it. Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. The pacing is strange. Really strange. Because Sailor Moon is a show with iconic characters and iconic villains. Iconic protagonists and villains. In the original anime, the villains were around for a number of episodes 20, 30, whatever. But yeah, is it in frame? I can't, I probably can't play you the music because YouTube will strike me. This may be copyrighted music, and I would like to play this music box because it plays Moonlight Densetsu. But yeah, I don't want to be in trouble with YouTube. So pretend I did. So yes, iconic music. Speaking of iconic music, I look weird in white. I don't like this, but I couldn't find my black Sailor Moon shirt. Anyway, stop having moments of distraction. Yes. So to compare Sailor Moon Crystal to the original, many more episodes, a lot of filler. And speaking of the original anime, it has so much filler, and not all of it is good. It really has some episodes that just should have been a little segment, and it has added in stuff and removed stuff from the manga, which is sometimes a good choice and sometimes not. I like that they made Zoisite and Kunzite gay. Yes, that was nice. I liked that. Sue me. Speaking of gay, to this day, Sailor Moon is probably the show, and I'm speaking all of the shows, live action, Western, whatever, all of them with the most LGBTQ plus representation and probably the most positive LGBTQ plus representation. When you really look at it, the manga was written in the 80s, so to have representation And then the anime came out in the early 90s. So yeah, so that was huge. That was huge for us. And that it's mostly positive representation, that was wild for the time. And Sailor Moon Crystal does have little bits of like, they didn't make them cousins, but the Haruka being non-binary thing, like, okay, it was just handled weirdly. Like, oh, she's both a man and a woman. I'm skipping ahead, but that's fine. I'll go circle back. Now, the weird, rushed pacing of Sailor Moon Crystal really bothered me. Because in the original anime, we got to know Usagi, we got to know all of them, we basically kind of grew up with them because she was 14 and how old was I? Doesn't matter. We knew what she liked, we knew her friends, we knew then her other friends who became Sailor Scouts with her. We got to see a lot of her parents, her brother, and in Sailor Moon Crystal, it's all kind of pushed to the side. We get cameos from the parents, we get a lot of the villains just made cameos and got defeated. Like my favorite villain, Koan, was just like in and out, and I was like, oh, it's oh, she's dead. Well, okay. Thank you for that. Rushed, absolutely rushed. I cannot state this enough, how rushed it feels, because it follows the pacing of a manga, which does not translate to anime. Anime and manga have to have different pacings, because in anime, you imagine it's a book with pictures as guides instead of words. So most of the plot you still do picture inside your head, which with an anime you have to have visual representation of what's happening. I do like the art style very much, not that I hate the original art style. It's more faithful to the manga, which is nice. It's a very girly style, and in the original anime they made it more contemporary to the times of the early 90s. They just had a generic 90s anime style, still gorgeous, still beautiful, but Naoko Takeuchi does have her own style, which was shown off here. That's one of the positives. Sailor Moon also had amazing music. Can't play this for you. Like, there's no song that is bad. There's no song that is a miss. Like, every song is so good. Like, they hit it out of the park. Ooh, sports reference. I don't know what that means, honestly, but I'm just using it because it came to mind. Hit it out of the park. No, not for me, but still, they really nailed it. It's such good music. It's a bit rock, it's a bit pop, it's a bit girly. I'm talking about the entire thing, and it matches the show. And then in Sailor Moon Crystal, the first opening has one moment where the singer imitates a wolf howling at the moon with the Sailor Moon. Yeah, I'm going to try to do that, and that's about it. That's about all that I liked. And of course, for the second film, they reused the old music, and I was like, oh, Really? You're going back to Moonlight Dancers, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Mm. I wonder why. The entire score of Sailor Moon Crystal is generic girly anime pop that could fit in any shoujo anime ever. There's no uniqueness, there's no flavor. And they also removed a lot of the flavor in the animations. When you really look at the transformation sequences and the attacks, it has so many little details. And in Sailor Moon Crystal, it all kind of feels flat. Like, sure, it's pretty, it's nice to look at, but then when you compare the two, it's like, wow. You're just a bit surprised by how little details are missing from transformations, from attacks, from backgrounds, from from everything. It's just a bit missing. And I know they use CGI, which is like, okay, fine, whatever. It's the 21st century, of course. You're going to use CGI to cut corners, whatever. I get it. Thank you. Yeah, I just, with the whole thing, I'm a little bit disappointed. It just, I don't know how other Sailor Moon fans feel about it because I haven't spoken to anybody but my bestie about it, and she's like agreeing with me for the most part. I'm glad it exists, but I guess the perfect Sailor Moon anime would be somewhere between the two. Like, cut a little of the filler, add in a little filler to the Sailor Moon Crystal. Let us know the characters, let us interact with the villains. In here, it's just like, oh, look, a villain, die. Oh, look, a villain, die. My powers are growing, I can now sprout wings. Oh, look, a villain, die. Oh, let's struggle a bit, let's struggle a bit. Things are not so easy just because I'm the protagonist. And I feel like Sailor Moon, the original, is so much more impactful. I feel like it really had a lot of cultural impact on society. Like, maybe when you really look at Sailor Moon, the original anime, you could really have an entire aesthetic around it, inspired by it, like roses and pastels and moons and like a bit of a celestial theme and like a romantic kawaii, whatever. And I think it inspired a aesthetic movement. And Sailor Moon Crystal fell flat. It was, like I said, I don't hate it. I'm glad it exists. But I also think it could have been a lot better. It could have had more episodes. It could have had more flavor. It could have had much better music because I will always bitch about the music. Every song in Sailor Moon, somebody put their entire soul into it. And in here, it's just like, okay, thank you, that was nice. Yeah, I would, I listen to Sailor Moon music fairly regularly. It pops into my head every so often, and I have to be like, oh, let's play Moonlight Dancer, let's play that. And this, I don't know. I like literally like 2 seconds of one song, so it's okay. Sometimes anime doesn't have to have good music, but then don't try to like. I just feel like it lacked effort on all grounds of production. I feel like it just didn't have the love that went into the original anime. I just feel like maybe it was a cash grab. Maybe somebody had bills to pay. Somebody maybe I don't know who. I don't know who to point a finger at. But if there was ever a third Sailor Moon anime, I'm begging. Look at Sailor Moon Crystal. Look at the original. Somewhere in between. Make good choices. Give us good music. Actually, just reuse the original anime's music. Totally fine. I wouldn't mind. Or like new covers, new renditions of the song. It's what they did for the Sailor Cosmos film. Don't give us like 120 episodes, like 80, 70 episodes, cut the filler. But then I'm torn because if they follow the manga, Zoisite and Kunzite are straight. No. Oh, I have. So many of my favorite characters got done dirty. I'm so mad. The Sailor Starlights, the gender bending um, pop idols. That transformation sequences were so weird. They were like tap dancing and then they were women. And they obviously got killed at the end. But also it was nice. Oh yeah, that was characters that I did like meeting outside of the manga, like Princess Kakyu, who got done dirty too, along with the Sailor Starlights. Like justice for the four of them, I guess. They were my apps. Well, not my one of my favorites as a child and as an adult. And they got done so dirty. They got killed off, and we never saw them again. Like, could we have a second to be told that they were reincarnated, that they were fine? It was just implied that everybody got reincarnated, like revived, whatever. Like, that was weak, as well as how Princess Kaki just died. She transformed and died. Killed by. What was her name? Doesn't matter, one of the fake Sailor Scouts that Sailor Galaxia made. And yeah, we did get more of Sailor Galaxia, then we kind of got more information about Sailor Cosmos. And then we got the wedding scene at the end of Sailor Moon Cosmos. Like, okay. I know that they shifted timelines, that the timeline from Sailor Moon Crystal was altered. But then, like, it was so weird. They got married, but then they still have a pretty good idea of what their future holds. Okay? They already met their daughter. They know who they're going to become in the future. Like, this is just um, a complaint about the story in general. Which also is in the manga, so I'm just trashing the original material that I claim to be a fan of. But you know what? we're allowed to criticize media that we enjoy. But I do have to say, another strong point for Sailor Moon Crystal is that they didn't age up Mamoru, because that was uncomfortable. When you realize how much older he is in the original anime than the saga, it's like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. That is weird and creepy. So at least they're the same age in Crystal, same-ish. I don't know. It's just weird that they did that in the original anime. But anyway, I've talked for far too long. I do believe that I've made all of my points. I've stated all my thoughts. Sailor Moon Crystal gets like a 5 out of 10 from me. Whereas the original Sailor Moon gets like a 9 out of 10. And I really feel like rewatching it. Oh hell, but that's going to take a while. Maybe I will slowly, who knows. At least it's not One Piece. I could never pick up One Piece. You people who watch One Piece and have caught up and are caught up, damn. You deserve medals or something, because that is wild. And there's even longer running animes than One Piece. Holy, shocking. But anyway, I love Sailor Moon, and you should too. And I'll see you in the next video, who might be who knows what. Okay, thank you. Subscribe, like, and support me on Ko-fi. Bye.